I hope that people just kind of see me as somebody that is here to support. If anything, just a community member that has decided to use my skills and my educational background to help others. That's it.
That was LaToya Petty, and this is the Voice of Montbello podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Alright, so here we have LaToya. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright. Alright. So, what does this event mean to you? You know, you're the one that said all of this out.
Yeah, so I'm the co-chair of this event. It's me and Candace Paisley, you guys spoke with her earlier. And we are co-chairs of this whole entire, event setup and planning aspect. But there's a lot of different partners around this table. It's not just two people. There's probably a good 45 active partners
Wow.
that come together in order to invest back in our community and try to heal our community.
Nice. What inspired you to do this event?
One of the reasons why I'm in mental health and public health or public safety is because I myself and my family had experienced a terrible loss. My brother was murdered in 2012, and because of that, I decided I got to do something. I just can't sit around and cry all the time. I have to be active and try to figure out why this happened and what we need to do to make the changes in our community so that another sister doesn't lose a brother, another mother and father doesn't lose a son.
Have you gone through any traumatic experiences?
Yes, that was a very traumatic experience that I went through.
Alright.
So yeah, just dealing with the loss of a very close loved one. It was very traumatic.
How did you overcome it? How did you overcome the
Well,
trauma?
Thank goodness I had a really healthy community around me. I went to a lot of grief support. I went and talked with therapists. I got active in mental health and public health or public safety and things like that. And that's what kind of helped me to, work through my grief and work through this trauma and find myself in a position where I can actually help other people.
Yeah. That's
So, how does
nice.
it affect you mentally?
It's hard. When you go through a very traumatic situation, the thing that a lot of people don't talk about is how your body breaks down. Like when you are in deep grief, everything in your body and your system just stops working the way it's supposed to.
Kind of like depression.
Yeah, kind of like depression. It's hard to move, it's hard to walk, it's hard to think, it's hard to function. For me, I had a loop. I was looping my brother's death over and over again in my head, and I couldn't get out of it. And one of the things that helped me to overcome that was doing art therapy. So I started painting, and just being able to focus on something like green, yellow, blue, and red helped me to give my brain a break. And then I was able to kind of rest myself in art, and that helped me to heal.
That's very nice. And what's the one thing that you expect people to recognize you as?
Recognize who me as?
Yeah, you as.
I hope that people just kind of see me as somebody that is here to support. If anything, just a community member that has decided to use my skills and my educational background to help others. That's it.
That's nice.
Were you around when your traumatic experience happened? Or
I was no, I wasn't there. I didn't see it in person, but we got a knock on the door at about 10:30 at night from one of my brother's friends, and he said something happened to Jonathan. He need to go to the hospital. And by the time we got there, my brother was passed away.
what was going through your mind when you first heard that his friend said all that?
I was thinking, oh, he maybe got shot or he got into a fight and he'll be just fine. When we go to the hospital, he'll be fine. But when we got to the hospital, they wouldn't let us see him. And that's when I knew, oh no, it's a little bit more serious than just a little fight.
And how was it? How was the month like when it happened and like that period of month? Well, like what? How was your life like that?
That period of time.
That period of time.
It was very difficult. It took a long time to heal from that. A lot of it affects your relationships, it affects your family dynamics, it affects how you do your job, things like that. So for me, I was just in go, go, go mode. I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to slow down. But, I was also very fatigued in how my body was operating because I wasn't allowing myself to rest. So, it's very hard. People deal with grief in different ways. Men don't like to talk about their grief and what they're experiencing a lot, but I can see come from a male dominated family. So there's a lot of men in my family. And, when you see people like your dad cry and you've never seen them cry, you know that is affecting you and it's affecting them and your family.
And how was your family? Like, how did your family act, if you don't mind me asking?
Everybody reacted differently. Everybody grieves in a different way. So, a lot of internalizing, a lot of self-blaming. So we were like, we could have done something more. We should have done something more. Why didn't we, notice what was happening? But the reality is that we knew what was happening, but some folks, they just make up their mind. They make a decision and then they follow through with it, and then there are consequences. So, it took me a long time to be able to say that my brother made a decision and it cost him his life. And because of that decision, I have to live the rest of my days without him, and so does the world.
And is your family doing well now, or are they good?
Yeah, I think that it's an ongoing thing. I don't know if you guys are so young, you probably have never experienced grief, but it's something that hits you. Like, I could be walking down the street today and just remember something about my brother, and I just feel sad and I feel like crying and things like that. And sometimes
It just ruins your mood.
it does, and then but it's short lived, and then I get going. So I think that's just some of the long-term effects of things that people don't really talk about.
Nice.
How does art therapy help you?
Yeah, so art activates another side of your brain. So when you are doing art or participating in some sort of activity that makes you focus your brain differently, it allows your body and your brain to take a break and just rest from its normal cycle. So whether it's music or painting or dancing or whatever it might be, those things can help your whole body rest and get the strength and it needs to move on.
What kind of like distractions?
It's a distraction, yeah. And it's a healing tool.
That'll be all for today.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Have a nice day. And we're gonna go in an intermission. We'll be back.
Thank you for listening to the Voice of Montbello podcast from the Active Collective Trauma Community Summit. To support our work and hear more youth-led community-based content, subscribe to our podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us on social media at Confluence Media Center. This has been a Confluence Media production.